Hi there! Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm here serving you guys up some cold tea yet again. By the time this video goes out, I think it'll be on maybe like the 15th of May, and this instance took place on the weekend of the 2nd and 3rd of May, I believe. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. There's been a bunch of videos put out on TikTok and YouTube about this. So, you've probably gotten your tea from another source already about this if you view this event as tea. But I just wanted to talk about it too on my channel because I myself am an indie author. And not only that, I'm an indie author who also does in person book events occasionally. And, when I was starting out, there was one book event I wanted to do that ended up falling apart and I was really disappointed with. So I can empathize with these people a lot who went through this whole situation. And hopefully, like, if you watch my channel, I do a lot of writing advice type things, so I assume some of you guys that watch me are aspiring writers or maybe other independent authors just starting out too. I thought this might be like a good like life lesson ish for you guys, and you would be interested in this as well. So hence this is why I'm doing a video on it. I know I do some like drama ish videos on my channel every now and then, but I do them selectively because I want them to ultimately be of service to like you guys and not just like gossip or tea, but like maybe thought provoking discussions on the channel or stuff like that, right? So I'm going to be talking about A Million Lives Book Festival. And if you're interested in learning more about this event, just keep on watching. Okay, I know I've been rambling and yapping. That's what I do. But now I'm going to be yapping about A Million Lives Book Festival. So if you don't know, this is being called like the Fire Festival of the book community. I've also seen this compared to the Detroit Bridgerton experience, which I feel like is a good comparison. And then like that European Willy Wonka experience thing too. So yeah, it's pretty bad. So A Million Lives Books Festival was intended to be a book festival in Baltimore, Maryland. They were going to host it, or they hosted it in the basement of the Baltimore Convention Center. I think that's like the name. It's not just like a vague, oh yeah, Baltimore Convention Center. No, it's like the Baltimore Convention Center. So anyway, they put in the basement there. They had a couple of rooms rented out. There was supposed to be a space for like you to meet the authors. There was also a space for you to like have social media postings if you were like a content creator or something like that. And then there was also a space where a ball was supposed to be held. So like the intention of this weekend was that like they had different price points. So I think it's like 50, 100 and maybe 200, 250 for tickets, but they had different price points like any normal convention would. And then like when you pay more, you get more perks. So the highest ticket price point was supposed to also be a ticket for you to enter this ball, like a big party. People have made other fantasy themed balls before. People get really dressed up. They pretend to be fairy princesses or whatever. They cosplay sometimes. Sometimes they'll wear like elf ears and stuff. And you just get really dressed up and you have dancing and music and, drinks and food and stuff like that. So I've never been to one. I'm not really like in the fantasy world like that. I'll like occasionally read fantasy, very few and far between. So that's like not for me, but it looks like a lot of fun. Like I wouldn't mind going to one of these events. It looks like a ton of fun. I love any excuse to dress up. That'd be really cool. So obviously people were expecting this it's type of event. And I think they're also really popular because like again, like the Bridgerton experience, people wanted to go to like these Bridgerton balls and like have the Diamond of the Season like type experience too. Just like, bookish role playing really. But like what ended up happening was like really whack. So, did this event live up to their expectations? No. Also, author information about that. From what I understand, there was going to be like 120 total authors present, featured, tabling, whatever, along with like voice actors and other industry folks. Because I've seen this on TikTok first. Like, it's like how I found out about this, and I've seen TikToks from some authors that were part of this experience, and they were like really upset that they didn't get anything near what they paid for. I mean, obviously you have tabling fees, but some people like flew in and like was trying to find hotel accommodations and things like that. At first, they were told that the hotel accommodation would be taken care of, and then that wasn't the case, and they had to like book a room someplace else. Wild stuff. So they were already frustrated with that. There was one author in particular I saw who was talking about how they paid extra for this like marketing package, which basically included them taking over the social media account for A Million Lives Book Fest. Like, you know, you create your own page when you make an event and something like that. So the author paid to like have a day where they take over the social media and like where they promoted their books, where she would be featured predominantly on their website, and then her book would be included in like a swag bag type situation for all the attendees that showed up. None of that happened. So they got scammed out of that basically. But like the real tea is there was 120 authors, but like on any given day there was maybe like 80 people max. So there was, from what I understand, on the first day, which would have been the VIP day with the ballroom and stuff like that, there was maybe 30 to 50 people who showed up for that. And not only that, it's just like I've been putting pictures up here, but I will continue to put pictures up here of like what that looked like. So basically the ballroom wasn't decorated at all. Like concrete floors and everything, friend. Like was not decorated at all. No tablecloths. No tablecloths at all. No Dollar Tree tablecloths or anything like that. There was just like maybe a couple rose petals thrown about, and they said, "Here you go." There was no DJ. Apparently, the source of music came from a security guard's JBL speaker, and he brought that because he felt bad for the people attending this event and just everything they went through. Some of the comments that I saw on that TikTok were funny. They were talking about like how their kids' like middle school dance was decorated better than this, or like somebody's child birthday party was decorated better than this. So yeah, no effort put in there. I don't know what happened. For the author tables, they didn't fare very well either. So the non VIP days, the cheaper tickets, when people showed up on that Saturday, there was around more like 80 to 100 people that showed up. But initially, like this event, the person who was organizing it promised the authors that they were going to have 500 to 600 attendees. And that's a lot of people. And so some authors claim that like they ordered up to $300 worth of product. You still expect to at least sell out a good chunk of stock, even if you don't sell everything. Some people order enough to make sure that they don't run out. And I totally understand that. Still, yeah, there's a big difference in the promising of attendees jumping from 500 to 600 people to 80 to 100. Like that's crazy. Apparently there was also like no online marketing for this event at all. There were like locals around Baltimore that were saying that like they never even heard of this event, which you know you're doing something wrong if you're not even getting like the local population. Like what? Bookstores in the area weren't aware of this event. I think there might have been some attending bookstores, like an independent bookstore. You know, sometimes they're affiliated with events like this, but a lot of people were left out and they weren't in the know. Also, so we talked about the ballroom, we talked about the author's room. Oh, there's also panels. So panels were promised at different points during this event. I saw a video, and again, I'm going to be linking all the stuff that I can find or other videos that I've watched in the description below. But another video I watched showed that like there's people who were supposed to be on an author's panel that didn't even get tables and chairs, and they were literally sitting on the floor giving a panel. Like what? Also, the authors, like, you know, if you're there all day, sometimes the event people will provide snacks or refreshments or something. They didn't get any food all day. They had to go up to the vending machine and, you know, after they were promised that they would be like having some sort of like refreshments. There was also like the issue of the social media room I mentioned earlier. Like it was completely empty. Normally when you think of a social media room, it would have some sort of like backdrop or like props or something to like make content with. I don't know. Like again, I like posting on social media to promote my work and stuff. I'm not like an influencer, but I don't know. You would think, yeah, you would have some cute backdrops or something for people to take pictures in front of, like maybe a mural. I don't know, like a fantasy mural or like even just like logoing. I don't know. Like, so yeah, that was there too. That wasn't there too, actually. So that was an issue. The person who put this on initially, this person gave the impression to the authors who signed up for this event that they were working with a team, and it was found only after the fact that that wasn't the case. This is like one person trying to put on everything, and afterwards she gave an apology because people kind of prompted her to, like at the event, like actively at the event. I'll put a picture of it here. And she was basically like, I understand this wasn't up to standards. I understand things weren't decorated well. If you guys want a refund, you can like reach out or request one or something. And my thing about that is if you understand that that's that much of a like a disappointment to folks, and like you guys should probably be giving out refunds regardless if people prompt you for it. I don't know. It's just my opinion. But yeah, so that was just like in reference to the attendees though. I'm not sure if the authors got any offer for a refund for like their table fees or anything like that. I don't know if there's any like compensation happening for authors who attended this event and obviously didn't meet their sales like they were promised. I mean, it's hard to like guarantee attendance in an event anyway, but like you could accurately gauge from ticket sales like whether or not your event is going to be a hit or not. And I don't know if the issue is that they just didn't sell enough and they could only cover the cost of the venue or whatever, but still like that's wild. At that point, like why not just cancel the event and or at least postpone it or something? It's just hard because with this person, when they worked with their previous team, they've put on events like this before apparently in the past. So that's why some of the authors had like good faith that they would be able to do this, but that person went solo to try to do it, and obviously maybe they were just like kind of inexperienced. I don't know. I've seen other claims in a video that the person who organized it was an indie author themselves, so there's also this like assumption of camaraderie with that, you know, like, oh, like I trust you because you understand my situation, and then you would have my best interest at heart because you know what I've been through. But that's not always the case with folks, unfortunately. Like that really sucks. But that was basically A Million Lives book festival. If I forget anything else, I'll just put it on screen right now. But I think that's like the gist of everything that basically happened. When you're an independent artist, it like sucks because there are people who want to take advantage of you and like are kind of scammy. And I'm not saying that that's what this person did. Maybe they were just like way over their head with this project and like they couldn't execute it and they really didn't know what to do. I don't want to like say that there's malicious intent, but like there are people who are actively trying to scam you out here. I mean, there are things like vanity presses that exist, or or people that are trying to earn money off of people who have a dream and who are trying to pursue that dream and who might not know any better because they don't have industry experience. I know for myself, the instance I mentioned where I was so excited for this book event, that I, paid a table fee and I thought it was safe because I heard about it from a friend of a friend, which from what I understand, several like the author that I saw on TikTok who was talking about I think it was the one who was talking about the marketing stuff that they paid for extra that they didn't get. A lot of them were signing up because other people in their own network were signing up. Like their friends were also signing up for this event. So they applied to it and then they, you know, all got roped into this thing. But it sounds like that marketing didn't escape like this community of indie romance people and didn't like spread out to people in general or readers in general. You just gotta be careful with that because again, the one event that fell through for me that I was really disappointed with, I found out through my network online, and it was like somebody that an author I trusted knew and said like, yeah, I've done events with them in the past and like things were really cool. And I was like, okay, well, I'll sign up for it. And I took that risk because it was also in a different state. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna like travel to the state and I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna try it. Well, that ended up getting canceled randomly and I never got my refund back even though I was promised it. So that really sucks. That was something that happened early on for me and it was really disappointing. And it made me like not want to do events again because I was like so embarrassed and I was like, oh, I was really guarded and not really trustworthy. And I was like, well, I don't want this to happen again, you know? But I've been doing events again here more locally because I'm based out of Chicago. So I've been doing things that are closer to me and or just Midwest events in general, and they've been great. And again, these events that I've done this past year, like I've made vlogs about. So the Third Coast Book Fest and the Slay the Lake event, both of those events were great and they were super well organized and very well marketed. You could really tell that the people who were putting on these events were really supportive of authors. The one who put on the Third Coast event up in Grand Haven, Michigan, they owned a bookstore in town and they were the bookstore sponsoring that event. And you could just tell that that bookstore is like really well loved in the community too. So they had that community trust. And like when I went there, the whole town showed up. It was great. And it was the first year they ever did it. So they were also taking the same sort of risks as this person was doing. But, they actively worked hard to try to post on Instagram, even though they like, I could tell by the Instagram that they don't really understand like the culture of Instagram, let's just say, but they still did their best marketing that way. And they went on their local news station to market their event. They, had more traditional like even hanging up posters in town that I physically saw the posters there, you know, people promoting the event. So they got out and like tried to do their best. And even like people who showed up there, they're like, oh, I didn't know about this, but they saw the commotion and they went there, right? I think with a small town like Grand Haven, like you could do something like that. It would be harder in Baltimore because Baltimore is a big city, especially if you're in an enclosed area like a convention center. People might not know about it, especially if you don't have signage. That was another thing, another picture I saw from a video I watched this morning just to like kind of refresh my memory about the situation, is that they didn't even have signage out in the convention center. The convention center had to print up their own sign to like show that this event was happening in the space. So okay. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. So that's just saying that like with Third Coast Fest, that was like a completely different experience for me. And likewise with Slay the Lake, Slay the Lake killed it with their social media marketing. They were constantly posting online all the time. And this was also run by some independent authors in the community who already like established themselves in that city and who had a close relationship with the people who own the venue. They brought in folks from like the public library to come or other bookstores in the area to come. And I was so surprised at the turnout because again, it was at a bar, which is a small enclosed space. I was like, yeah, who's going to be here? But we had people the entire day. Like I said in my vlog, we had people the entire day show up and send love, and that who even flew from out of town, like from Iowa, to like come to this event to come meet independent horror authors in a bar setting, which I was like, whoa, that's great. I literally did, I don't know. I just didn't think it would happen and it did. And it was really nice. So I am getting more comfortable with going to events again and I'm really happy about it. And I love the networking opportunity that I've had to meet other authors and other people in this industry because I've put myself out there now. But like that took a lot of like internal healing on my part, right? Because yeah, I just felt so dumb. Truthfully, I felt so dumb when that kind of like scammy stuff happened to me. I'm not saying it's a scam, like, you know, but I still haven't gotten my money back and it's been quite a long time. So that's just how I kind of feel about that. Like, anyway, anyway, yeah, it's like embarrassing. I started off gradually though. Like I told myself like, okay, maybe I just go to like an art event, and I think I made a video about this a while ago about tabling at an art event at the Museum of Surgical Sciences, which again, a very quirky thing, like very offbeat kind of thing, opportunity to do. It was their first year doing it too, but and I was the only author there, but it was still like a good way to kind of test the waters to see like, okay, like how do I get back into this thing? And again, with the International Museum of Surgical Sciences, that's like a well-established kind of institution. I felt more comfortable doing that, even though this was their first year to do the event. And honestly, I don't know if they're going to do it again this year. I reached out to them, but I haven't really heard anything back. They might not. I don't know how profitable it was for them at that time. Like I had a fun time and I did sell some books. But I don't know how many people showed up for that as opposed to some of these other book specific events. Like I don't know if it was worth it for them. So maybe they won't have it. I don't know. But that was my gateway back into like, okay, I'm going to sell at in-person events. Like I'm going to try to put myself out there. I'm going to try to do this. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard out here for independent creatives in general, and it just sucks because like we really have to rely on one another. Like that's the cold hard truth, is that like you really have to rely on your community to like, I don't know, help motivate you, pull you up, protect you from this kind of shit. So I feel really bad for these independent romance authors or independent fantasy romance authors and fantasy authors who felt betrayed by somebody in their community who did this. And again, I don't know if that person has malicious intent. I don't think they earned enough money for it to be like a worthwhile scam anyway, because renting out multiple rooms in a convention center, I would think it's like super expensive. And if they only got like 100 people to pay for tickets, then how, I don't think they're making up a whole lot of costs here. So I don't think it was a worthwhile scam if it was malicious, and if it was just somebody in over their head and they were just didn't want to admit it. I don't know. But again, I'm just letting you know that this exists, that this happened, that this can happen to the best of us, clearly. And I don't know. It's just like, again, this is haha funny tea, but this is also just like an unfortunate part of sometimes being an independent creative. So if you want to show these people some love, I'm going to link the people who attended this event in my description so that you guys can like support these authors if you choose to. You know, just like show them a bit of love. You know, I'm going to put that down there in addition to all the other references I have. And yeah, just like stay safe out there, I guess. I think it's like a good thing because some of the readers were happy that they got to have so much one-on-one time with an author. And obviously all authors want to talk to readers and like have that experience too. But it also just sucks if you lose like $2,000. If you're an author like me who's been through something like this, let me know in the comments down below. I just want to be here to support one another. So hi, you have my support. There you go. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like it, please like the video. You can comment down below something. You can share this video with a friend or subscribe to the channel. Please, please, please. That would help me out a lot. And until next time, thanks. Bye.